UFC 319 went down last night, and listen, Dracus du Plessis got ragdolled, manhandled, fondled with for 21 and a half minutes of a 25-minute fight. This dude had no answer, and when I mean no answer, I'm talking about zilch, zip, nada. Nothing for Khamzat's wrestling. You would have thought that the way this fight went, Dracus didn't do an ounce of fucking wrestling in training camp. Now, I'm coming off pretty harsh when I say that, but realistically, when I'm looking at it, when I'm watching the fight last night, I'm watching it with other people, and they go, how does Dracus du Plessis get himself in this position, and, why doesn't he have an answer here? Well, in my theory here is that when you look at the position they were in for half the fight, with Dracus du Plessis on his knees up against the cage, and then Khamzat dragging him on his back, with that tight waist body lock on his back, right? My thought process is Dracus doesn't have the people around him in training camp that put him in this position every single day, every time they train, right? It's probably the other way around, where Dracus is dominating the matches, dominating the sparring, and then when you go look at Khamzat's training camps, he's probably in this position all the time, every single time he's, doing cage wrestling, right, or MMA rounds. He's probably got people right here every single time. That's why he didn't gas. People were like, Khamzat's going to gas. He doesn't gas if he's doing what he does every single time, right? In these other fights with Kamaru and Gilbert, he gasses when they get into big scraps on the feet, right? And we don't know if that's going to be the case anymore now that he's an 85er and now that he's working with the cardio guys that he's working with over in Cali. But Khamzat looked great. And so I think Dracus just doesn't get put in that position ever in training, and when he does, it's by guys that aren't able to keep him there, like Chimaev is. And yeah, Dracus had no answer. He was sitting on his knees. So there's like a golden rule in wrestling, and even DC was talking about this, how Khamzat is doing wrestling techniques that you're taught as a kid, right? This is why wrestling is so beautiful, because it's so simple. And if you stick to the fundamentals, stick to the basics, it can go a long way. And that's really with anything, right? But, wrestling especially, because it's so, so effective if you just do basic stuff. Like how Khamzat was just on his wrist the whole time, and when he was on his back, grabs the wrist riding. And Dracus wasn't really fighting the hands, and there's a I wouldn't say a golden rule, but there is a fundamental rule in wrestling that if someone's on your back and they don't have your feet, they don't have an ankle, they don't have any hooks in, start standing. Step up with one foot and then step up with the other. Dracus literally was just sitting there on one knee with one foot up, wasn't trying to get to his feet. Like, when he would get to his feet, he would get dragged back down, but, he's the one that was talking about, oh, he takes me down, I'm going to get back up. You didn't even try to get up. Like, you tried a couple times, and then when he took you down, you quit. So, that's on you, buddy. But, it was a 50-44. There was I think, one 10-8 round. I honestly could have gave every single round 10-8 to Khamzat except for the last round. Like, every round for me was damn near a 10-8 round. Maybe the first round was 10-8 and the third round was a 10-8. But I could have gave 1 through 4 a 10-8 round. Chimaev, man, I don't know who's going to stop him. I don't know who's going to be able to beat him. Fluffy Hernandez makes an interesting threat possible because he's really good everywhere, right? And he's a little bit more crisp on the feet. I think he will do more in terms of like trying to escape or trying to make something happen with the grappling on bottom. I think Fluffy does have a really good chance. They both showcase pretty much the same style of fight in their fights. I know they've versed two different people, but They both have like similar styles. I do think Khamzat ends up winning that fight either way. Imavov and Barrio is in 2 weeks or something like that, and I don't think either of those guys have what it takes to beat Chimaev on the ground. Imavov has a puncher's chance. Barrio, he's decent. In his last fight, he kind of like a lot of the hype went out the window for me. He's not as great as I thought he would be. I think some of those other fighting nerds guys are better, like Rufy and Gene Silva. I think they're a little bit better than Barrio, but what do I know? So Khamzat, he's looking like he's going to make a quick turnaround. He wants to fight at 321, so that'd be awesome seeing him again at the end of the year. That's going to be crazy. He might actually be one of the most active UFC champions of all time. I know he hasn't fought in a while since his last fight up to now, but we all know he likes to fight. And if his immune system, that my buddy was like, the only one that's going to beat Khamzat is his immune system, and I agree. And if we see a quick turnaround from Khamzat, it's going to be an exciting middleweight division, because there's just not a lot. There's not a lot going on at middleweight. We got, Robert Whittaker, we got Imavov and Barrio, but like Robert Whittaker and, Rainer de Ritter, like it's not even that great, Khamzat gets mollywomped by Rainer de Ritter unless he runs into one of those beautifully timed knees, which, Rainer can do. There's that chance there, but I don't think it's going to happen. So, I called it perfectly. The last 3 fights, I pretty much called the whole, honestly, the whole entire main event, I called perfectly. Not main event, main card, I called perfectly. I called Timmy L. We'll get into all of it. So, yeah, Khamzat ends up ragdolling Dracus du Plessis. And, yeah, we have a new champ. He looked great. He looked phenomenal. A lot of people were saying that this was boring, that this was a boring fight, right? And a lot of these guys, that just tells me they didn't grow up watching GSP. You know what I mean? They didn't grow up watching GSP, because GSP fought the same way, wrestle fuck dudes for 5 rounds, took away anything that they could do for 5 rounds, and, it's like, all right, you've never seen John Jones fight Thiago Santos or John Jones fight Ovin St. Preux, because those were 2 of the most boring fights of all time. And, I just think that people who are like, oh, this fight was so boring, we don't want to watch this shit, go watch something else then. Okay? Go watch something else, because UFC just isn't for you, brother. It's just not. And it won't ever be if you think this stuff is boring. And, is it the most exciting? No. Right? But don't go online and fucking cry and bitch about it like a fucking child, okay? Go somewhere else with that shit. In the co-main event, Murphey knocked out Aaron Pico in the first round, like I said he would. I didn't necessarily say the first round, but I did have a very strong feeling Murphey was going to knock out Aaron Pico. Like I said, Aaron Pico's been knocked out twice before in very brutal fashion at the Bellator level, right? And I said, Aaron Pico has fought a lot of good guys, but compared to Leron Murphey, they're a bunch of nobodies. They're a bunch of cans. Leron Murphy is number 6 in the world, in the UFC, for a fucking reason, right? And I think they did Aaron Pico very dirty with this matchup. Like I said, if we get stars like this from Bellator, like really good guys, what is the point of putting them up against a number 1, number 5, number 6 contender? Because they go out there, they get their ass whooped, and then it's just like, yeah, why would we make this fight? It's Bellator. Nobody wins there. The UFC is like, yeah. It's like, okay, UFC, why would you make that fight? This was just a big mismatch. And then, the loser, if the loser gets knocked the fuck out like Aaron Pico did, that's just, a big loss for him. That's not good. He got knocked out very badly. This isn't just like a stumble TKO where he was surviving. No, he got flatlined by 1 shot. 1 spinning back elbow. He didn't even get a follow-up shot, and he was flatlined bad. And I feel bad for him because, this is just a mismatch. It's not cool. Right? This is kind of like the UFC doing these guys dirty. And I get we have those guys who could come in here and maybe Dan Hooker was in the top 5 when Michael Chandler came over here and he knocked him out. But listen, like I was saying, Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez, Pitbull Silva, I think MVP, maybe not. They were all champions in Bellator. Right? And what separates MVP from someone like Aaron Pico is that MVP has a lifetime of striking experience, right? He's an outlier because he is such a good striker that he could go in there and he could strike with anybody, right? Anybody he is a massive threat to on the feet. And, Aaron Pico is a threat. He was hurting Leron Murphy very early, and those body shots were fucking nasty. For a second, I was like, okay, Aaron Pico's the real deal. But I knew in the back of my head, if he gets clipped, and which he did with that elbow, when he got clipped with that elbow, halfway through the round, I was like, oh, there it is. That might be the telltale right there if he gets hit again. And he did. He got hit with the spinning back elbow the next time. And, I just wish like I'm saying, like I wish we would have, didn't fast track people like Aaron Pico, who never won a title outside of the UFC, but we're matching him up against number 6 in the world. Like, give him a top 15, bro. Give him an unranked guy. Put him at the main event, featured prelim for the prelims, right? The main prelim, or put him at the beginning of the card, and start the card off right with somebody that's not ranked. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I feel really bad for Aaron Pico. I think the UFC did him a little bit dirty with these matchups. They put him up against the number 1 contender, and then they put him up against Murphey, who's a fucking dog, 8-fight win streak, now on to 9 in the UFC, number 6. His rank shouldn't go anywhere. I don't think he should get a title shot for beating an unranked guy from Bellator who never won a belt. He's not a champion. It is what it is. It sucks. Murphey looked amazing, though. He did look good. Not amazing, because there was, he did get caught, he did get taken down, but the finish was amazing. I thought Aaron Pico was slightly winning up until then. So, Aaron can hang with these guys, but I think it was just too much, too fast, and I would like to see him take, and this is what sucks. He needs to take a year off now because of that. And, yeah. Bad stuff there from the UFC. I don't like it. Next up, we got Carlos Prates beating Jeff Neal for first-round knockout. Now, I knew one of these guys were going to knock one of these guys out. And I was like, okay, when I was breaking down the fight, Jeff Neal, he's kind of been in the UFC for a while. He could knock out anybody at a given notice. But right now, Carlos Prates is in his prime. He's in his bag. He is him, right? He's got everything going for him. He's young. He's precise. He hasn't been in the game for a long time, right? So there's a lot of stuff going for him. I picked Jeff Neal because of USA bias, because I thought the fight was going to be so close. I didn't know who to pick, so I was just like, fuck it, USA. Maybe because I knew someone was going to knock somebody out, so I just went in there, was like Jeff Neal by knockout, right? But it was a good fight up until he got clipped with a 1-2. It was like a 3-2, like a slap hook cross, and the cross kind of wobbled him a little bit, just a little bit, and then he started wrestling, and then that's when Prates was like, oh, we're wrestling now? And then out of fucking nowhere, with 1 second left, a spinning back elbow knocked Jeff Neal the fuck out. It was insane. It wasn't as crazy as the Aaron Pico knockout. I thought that one was crazier, but the sound that the elbow made when it landed on Jeff Neal's head was absolutely ridiculous. That was just insane. It was just a crack. It sounded like a head kick. I know Carlos's elbow is going to be a little bit sore today, but dude, Carlos is the man. That fool is nasty. He's got beautiful range, beautiful timing. He looked really good. They both looked really good up until then. I was impressed with Jeff, the way he was pressuring Carlos and hitting him with those hooks and the left hand. He looked really good as well, And he knew someone was going to get knocked out, right? Jeff Neal knew someone was going to get knocked out. Unfortunately, it was him. But yeah, hats off to Carlos. That was a beautiful performance. He's a bad dude. He called out Leon Edwards. That'll be a good fight. He's fighting somebody in Brazil for sure, and whoever it is, it's going to be a good fight. Even MVP said he'll go down to 170 and fight Carlos Prates in Brazil. That'd be a good fight as well. I would love to see that too. Who wouldn't want to see that fight? That's a super fight, It's big names, 2 big names. Speaking of MVP, he defeated Jared Cannonier, unanimous decision, and it went exactly like how I said. He was too elusive. He was too much on the feet, had too much angles. He dropped Jared Cannonier twice with his right hand. Like I said, his power was going to be a little too much for Jared. And it wasn't necessarily power, but more of you don't know when it's coming, and when it comes, it's like, boom, oh fuck, I wasn't ready for it, so you fall, right? It's like flash knockdowns. And yeah, that's what MVP did to Jared Cannonier for 2.5 rounds until he got taken down in the 3rd round. He didn't get taken down, he slipped. Slipped, fell, ended up in half guard, got mounted, which was pretty scary. Almost got his back taken, but he did a really good job at shrimping and getting into half guard and nullifying any offense from Jared Cannonier, So, yeah, MVP did good. He's going up to middleweight, and he's beating these dudes that, you think are, gonna, within a couple wins get a title shot, and he's going up there and he's just beating these guys. He's like the gatekeeper of the middleweights now, but he's not a gatekeeper. It's just funny how he's just going up there beating these dudes. I say give him somebody like, Robert Whittaker next, maybe Rainer de Ritter. That would be a good fight. I think Rainer's a little too big for him. He probably beat him on the ground, grapple him up a little bit. Middleweight is kind of scary, right, for someone like MVP because of the grappling-centric top, 3 guys, Dracus, Khamzat, and then Rainer de Ritter, who are all really good grapplers, right? Even Robert Whitaker is a decent grappler. He's really good, at shooting double legs, getting people on their back, and he's big. He might be a little too much for Mr. MVP. So dropping back down to 170 to fight a striker is not, it's just, that's good. That's good. It's strategic from MVP. Fight the guys who are better for your style, Fight Carlos Prates. Fight who's the champ? Oh, you could fight Sean Strickland at middleweight if you want. You could fight who else? Who else at 170 would be a good fight right now for him? Because Hernandez is gonna go in there and grapple you. He might get beat up on the feet a little bit, but he might go in there and grapple you and choke Venom Page out. Then we got Imavov and Barrio, who will probably strike with you a little bit more. Maybe Barrio would look for a takedown. Imavov will for sure strike with you. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of good matchups for MVP. And as far as Jared Cannonier goes, man, it's just like, just throw him whoever next. It's like maybe Robert Whitaker, maybe the loser of this last fight. No, don't give him the loser of the championship fight. I don't know. Duplessis might have a rematch with Khamzat. I don't know. Who knows what's going on there with those guys? But man, Jared Cannonier, man, he's a little bit on the down and out, right? He had a tough fight against RoboCop, and RoboCop isn't even like that elite of a fighter in terms of rank wise, right? He is an elite fighter. But in terms of ranking, he's not like up there with title contention, capabilities. But yeah. I love Jared, man. He's been fighting for a long time, but I just think he's on his way out, and it sucks to see. Sucks to see guys you grow up watching hit their stride, and then watch their downfall. Not necessarily downfall, right? It sounds bad, but when you see them on their way out, I know he has a lot left in the tank. Michael Venom Page is just tricky. He does this to anybody, right? On the feet. He does that to a majority of the people in the UFC. So, can't hang your head low if you're Jared Cannonier. You just got to understand, like, you should have probably wrestled a little bit more. And that's what I said going into this. I was like, I don't think he's going to use enough of his MMA to beat Michael Page. He doesn't really try to shoot and take people down. He usually tries to strike with people. Should have tried to take Page down a little bit more. And, listen, he did. But he went for a lot of body lock trips. And someone with like Michael Venom Page who has really good balance, you got to get on the leg. Like DC was saying, you got to get on the leg. You got to chain together your wrestling. And Jared just wasn't doing that. He was just trying to look for these, body lock trips and takedowns. And it's like, you got to do a little bit more there, bro. You got to do a little bit more. But I do retract. He did try. I do remember that now. Sorry, I'm just waking up. Obviously, I got my coffee. And yeah. It was a solid performance from MVP, man. He did look good against these bigger guys at middleweight. Next up, we got Timmy Elliott defeating Kaya Sakura by submission, and it went exactly like how I thought it was. At first, I was like, okay, Tim Elliott didn't shoot a single fucking takedown in round 1. Maybe he did. Yeah, it was right at the end, but he didn't even shoot it. He caught the head kick, almost got knocked out with the head. He didn't almost get knocked out, but he ate the fucking head kick. And when you eat a head kick, there's always that fear of like, hey man, let's not do that again. If you want to take him down, shoot him. Don't catch a head kick on the side of the cheek and then take him down, right? So took him down at the end of round 1, and then I think he was like, oh, his ground game is not good at all. He tried to bridge out of side control like 4 times with no frames. Yeah, let's take him down. And so he ends up getting him on the ground again in round 2. And yeah, it went exactly like how I said it was. He was going to go in there, take Asakura down, control him, find a submission, and he does. Tim Elliott is fucking good on the ground. He almost choked Demetrius Johnson in their fight. He's beaten a lot of people by submission. He's so weird on the feet. He got caught with a couple right hands, but he fucking ate him for a 38-year-old. He's still got his chin. He looked good. He's always fun to watch. He's always really fun to watch, really fucking weird on the feet. He's like almost so weird that he doesn't even have traditional combos. Like he doesn't even know what he's gonna throw next. So he's kind of like hitting Kai with like off balance shots that were like landing, but they shouldn't have been landing. But they were just landing and hitting Kai, and it wasn't really doing a lot of damage because he's so off balance and weird with his stance that it really wasn't doing much. But he was giving Kai tough times on the feet. I thought Kai was gonna have a little bit better of a time striking. he should have threw a lot more cross kicks, right? What a cross kick is throwing your cross and then the same side kick coming out after that, kind of like Leon Edwards and what Izzy did to Paulo Costa when he hit him with that head kick that cut him. Brian Battle got a head kick knockout. Cheeto Vera got a head kick knockout like that against Dominic Cruz. Whole lot of cross kicks this past couple years that I can name, but whatever. Should have did that more. You know, you do that to guys who move their head a little bit too much, especially after they slip punches. You slip across this way, you should get hit with the head kick, especially if your hand's down. Right? That's how you beat. That's how you not beat, but that's how you threaten Ilia Topuria on the feet a lot more than just trying to box with him. But yeah, Timmy looked good, man. For being 38, looked good. Hope to see him again soon. Quick turnaround. Maybe, you know, at the beginning of next year. He is 38, so give him a little bit of time to, you know, his body replenish from the weight cut. But yeah, he looked good. Yeah, and then we'll go through the prelims real quick because the prelims were actually pretty damn good. Bjorn Susagarev, the dude who trains with Khamzat, he looked good. It looked like Eric Nolan had a lot of good moments as well on the feet. I was giving the first round to Eric Nolan because of the good boxing, the good pressure, and then he fucking hurt Basinger. I don't even know how to fucking say this dude's name. I don't even know how to say his first name, but Eric fucking rocked him bad at the end of the first round. And Eric's a welterweight going up to middleweight to fight this guy. Hurt him very bad at the end of the first round, and I almost put, before the fight started, I almost put money down on Eric by knockout just to see. And it was like plus 1,200, and I was like, I might just do that. And he almost fucking knocked him out. But then he got hit with the low kick at the beginning of round 2, and the low kick looked like he took it on the side of the knee, and it looked like it just busted his knee. And, you know, that happens sometimes. That shit rattles the inside of your knee, and it is not good. It does not feel good. It's a sharp pain. And, yeah, it's a sharp, deep pain. You feel it around your entire knee, and, you know, I know exactly what he felt because I kind of fucked my knee up the same way. And, yeah, he got finished shortly after. He got rear naked choked after that, and it was hard for him to do anything, stand up, because his knee was so fucked. But other than that, he was looking really good before that. It's just kind of what happens when you fight bigger guys with bigger mass that you're not really used to fighting. And yeah, you take a fight on short notice, you're not ready for something like that. You're not war ready, you know, as much as you would be in a full fight, right? And yeah, whatever. I'm not even gonna say his name. Russian dude looked good. He looked decent. He looked like he was underestimating Eric Nolan a little bit. That's why he got rocked. He was kind of in there playing with him a little too much, and then Eric was like, "Yeah, I fucking hurt you, bro. You better not fucking take me light, motherfucker." And yeah, I like that. That was a good fight. It was a fun fight. Next up, Michael Ozajicic versus Gerald Meerschaert. Right away, you could just see how scared Meerschaert was on the feet. Michael went in there, hit him a couple times, and Meerschaert was like, "No, I don't. Why am I in here? I'm gonna shoot a takedown from a mile away." And yeah, Michael just fucking kept landing that left hand over the shoulder of Gerald Meerschaert until it hurt him, and then he put him away with a 2-3-2 from southpaw. And yeah, ground and pound, knocked him out, put him away. Middle of the fight, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna knock him out in this round. He's gonna knock him out in the first round. And he ends up doing it. But yeah, called that fight as well. Lupi Godinez versus Jessica Andrade. I called for Lupi to win. She won. Looked very good on the feet. I do give it a 29-28. I thought, you know, Jessica Andrade did win the third round, being a little bit more aggressive. A lot of people were saying it was a robbery. A couple people, maybe not a lot, but a couple people I seen were saying that was a robbery. I don't understand how. Jessica Andrade got hit in the face 30 or 40 more times, 60 more times than Lupita got hit, but Lupi got, you know, hit with a couple of good power shots, but it's like a couple. Like when I say a couple, I quite literally mean a couple. She got hit with a good body shot one time and got hit with an overhand one time. Other than that, every fucking shot missed. They never landed clean, you know. And yeah, a lot of her punches landed clean. She shot a lot of takedowns. Her takedowns weren't meant to be finished, right? Maybe a couple of them were, but a majority of them, when you shoot 12 takedowns, it's like Merab. Okay? You're only shooting them to set up your hands. So a lot of people are like, she shot fucking 12 takedowns and Jessica Andrade shot 90% of them. That's because she was trying to set up her fucking hands, bro. Shut the fuck up, you damn casual. Stay on fucking Threads. Stay on Twitter. Okay? But yeah, Lupi looked good. Her boxing looked really good, really crisp. She doesn't have a lot of power, but she knows how to put the punch to the face, and I like that. I like when people know how to just touch and not have to swing for the fence to land their strikes, right? So yeah, Loopy looked good. And the next one, Alexander Hernandez beats Chase Hooper via first round TKO, and I called that right away. I was like, Chase Hooper has dog shit striking. Dog shit striking. Chase dog shit strike Hooper, went in there and did not try to wrestle at all, besides one time when he grabbed Alex's leg and put him up against a cage and then immediately let go. For whatever fucking reason. Maybe he thought Alexander, damn, this motherfucker's strong. I don't want to waste my gas tank just yet. Like, if you were there when I did the tier list of who I think I could beat in a fight in the UFC, Chase Hooper was one of the first guys I put down on the tier list of, yes, I could beat Chase Hooper in a fight. I am getting my black belt in jiu-jitsu at the end of the year. I have 4 first-round submissions. I am very, very, very confident in my ground game to defend anything from Chase Hooper and not put myself in a dumbass position to get choked, armbarred, knee barred, whatever it may be. And I know for a fact I would knock him the fuck out. So, like, Chase Hooper, listen, no disrespect, buddy. I just hate watching UFC fights and going, I could beat that guy. There shouldn't be anyone in the UFC that I could go, I could beat that guy. And there's probably like 4, right? There's some that I'm like, I'd probably have a good chance of beating that guy, you know? But there's a good handful where I'm like, you know, I'd beat the fuck out of that guy. And I'm not going to name any names, but Chase Hooper's one of them. But yeah, Alex looked good. I mean, what do you want me to say? I literally called it. I was like, he's going to hit him with a 1-2 and knock him out. And he did. Alex, on the feet, has a very crisp, very good timed 1-2 from Southpaw and Orthodox, and that's what he hit him with. Hit him with a nice 1-2, hit him with a good one from Southpaw early in the fight, and then he hit him with a 1-2 later in the fight to fucking finish the fight. Looked good. Next up, Draker Klaus defeats Edson Barbosa. I really thought Edson was going to have a little bit more in the gas for this fight. Draker Klaus looked very good. Landed his right hand over and over and over again. Maybe they gave Edson Barbosa the first round, I think, but I thought it was a clean sweep, to be honest. But anyway, sorry, I had to go check something. Kind of lost my train of thought. Draker Klaus looked really good. Kept landing his right hand over and over and over again on Edson Barbosa's chin, and Edson was not wearing them well. He actually was throwing some good leg kicks against Edson as well. He threw a lot of good leg kicks, and he kept stomping Edson's foot, like more aggressive stomps than I've ever seen in my life, like more than Kamaru Usman doing his foot stomps to Masvidal. He was like really attacking Edson Barbosa's foot, and it did swell his foot up. But, you know, I'd be pissed if someone stomped on my feet. I'm poking you in the eye. I don't care. Anyway, we got Kareem Silva beating Dion Barbosa, unanimous decision. Low-key, that's the fight I kind of thought was a little bit of a robbery. I thought Dion Barbosa won round 1. I thought she won round 2. Was it round 2? Maybe. It was either round 2 or 3. It was so early on in the day yesterday that I just forgot which what round was what. But I thought Dion Barbosa won. I thought she edged it out over Kareem. I don't know, man. Kareem didn't really have much on the feet. She didn't have much on the ground. She got taken down in the first round. I think it was the second or third round she got taken down again. Didn't really show a lot off her back. She did throw up a couple submissions, but nothing crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And then Joseph Morales versus Alibi Idris. Joseph Morales, the Ultimate Fighter winner. He's back in the UFC. Looked really good against Alibi. Went in there, manhandled him literally everywhere. Hurt him with a big body shot. Took him down, submitted his ass. Joseph looked really good. Can't wait to see him fight again. But yeah, that was UFC 319. Khamzat, just dominant. Leon Murphey, crazy knockout. Carlos Prates, crazy knockout. Page, look good. Timmy Elliott, he's back. I can't wait for UFC 320. It's going to be 1 full month of no pay-per-views. So that is going to be nice. We have no pay-per-views in September, and then at the beginning of October, it is another fight night. So we have a little bit over a month of no pay-per-views. And I just want to talk about next week's main event. I'm not going to be really... I probably will do a prediction of it and stuff. But, like, the fact that it's a Johnny Walker main event, I don't know how to feel about that. That's just insane to me. We got Brian Ortega and Aljamain Sterling literally on the co-main event, and they're both ranked 5 and 7 or something like that. And then the fucking main event is ranked 13 and 14. You know, granted, they're fighting in China, and the dude in the main event is Chinese, the dude that Johnny Walker's fighting, but it's like, bro, put him in the co-main. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Put Brian Ortega and Aljamain in the main event. If the Chinese UFC fans are real UFC fans and they're not just coming to watch a Chinese guy fight, they're going to stick around for the main event. Trust me. It's Aljamain Sterling and Brian Ortega. You're going to sell tickets for that, okay? But anyway, that's the video. Peace out, everybody. Like, subscribe. I will see you guys next week for UFC, in terms of UFC content. Everything else, stick around. I'll be posting all week. Later, everybody.